back, I took a look at the Disney Store Tokyo playset. This weird plastic playset released by the Disney Store in 2011 that features plastic cars slightly smaller than the regular Disney Store cars, but still larger than Mattel's items, that you could launch by sticking keys into the back of them. If you plug them into the launcher, they would make character-specific phrases, which worked sometimes. Yeah, it's usually just Mater. But there is Grem dialogue in there, trust me, it just doesn't come out very often. You know, in hindsight, I don't know why I bought both the Tokyo playset and the Porto Corsa playset. They had a ton of them. They were new in box. I think I was just enticed by the fact that they were in such good condition. I'm not typically the type of person who buys a Cars item simply because there's a Cars logo on it. You know, I would have gotten these if they came with regular scale Disney Store cars, because at least it would add to my Disney Store collection. But I knew just looking at it that, you know, they weren't the right size, and they had this whole key gimmick and everything. And, like, I don't know why I got it, but they were the only Cars items there, so I think I was just kind of desperate. The Tokyo playset was pretty underwhelming, cheap, poorly put together, typical issues that Disney Store Cars items tend to have. So honestly, I don't really know what to expect from this Porto Corsa playset, or I guess I know exactly what to expect. And what I expect is nothing all that special, but still, it's always fun to take a look at a playset, and it's always fun to take a look at a weird item. Anyway, guys, welcome back to another review. Today we're finally going to be taking a look at the Disney Store Porto Corsa playset. So let's get started. We've got artwork of McQueen and Francesco here. You can see it's a little sun-faded over the years. Still don't know how whoever sold this at the flea market got it. Okay, they had this and the Tokyo set, like a whole pallet of them. Maybe they used to work at the Disney Store and these never sold or something, or were never opened. I don't know, but hey, they were selling them for a whopping $8 each. Wow, woo! We have this nice checkerboard pattern going around, different from the Mater and Grem Tokyo set, which had a fire pattern. So funny to see Cars 2 merchandise that differentiated, like, oh, this is a race product, but that's a spy product. Like the Quick Changers did that. They divided it into two series, right? Insert into launcher for lights and character phrases. Wow, you know, it's kind of a miracle in the last video that this worked, if you consider that it working. And from what I've heard from you guys, there are actually character-specific phrases for each of the characters, based on like a chip, like a series of notches or something inside of the car. So it's going to be interesting to see if putting Francesco and McQueen in this set will give different dialogue, or what, or, you know, vice versa. Stop! And I believe it was fan of Thomas31 who told me that he actually kind of broke into one of these sets and found unused dialogue for Holly Shiftwell. And despite the fact that they made the Tokyo, London, and Porto Corsa sets, as well as a few additional ones, there was an oil rig and an airport one, but those both reused items from these sets, they never made Holly, but there's dialogue for her loaded in there, which is really fascinating. Clear the jump and win the race. The jump is a different color, but okay, that's the prototype, obviously. Push button on back to launch into the action. That's... Your set has so few features that these are basically the same thing. Also available at the Disney Store, London playset, and Tokyo playset. Alright, let's open this up. You know, I gotta say, these sets have really good boxes from a misleading standpoint. They really make it look like there's a lot to do in this set. But when you think about it, there just isn't. They're really going for display instead of compactness, you know? There are just these huge two set pieces that take up so much space, but if you really think about it, look at how much dead space there is in the box. They rearranged things only slightly. They could have fit so much more in the box, you know? It's very clearly presentation first in terms of the design there. And, you know, I gotta say, the Disney Store's biggest issue has always been the quality. The products have always looked nice, but the quality has, for years, been terrible. I've honestly tried to stop collecting Disney Store cars, for the most part. They haven't really been making any new ones, so it's not like there are many for me to get. If I find them for cheap, secondhand, I'll pick them up, you know, and if they make one I really like, then I will get it. But I was so disappointed by their On the Road selection last year, and, well, when I bought the Cave McQueen and Cave Mater, the Cave McQueen literally broke when I opened it up. So that was kind of my last straw with the Disney Store, because for years, nearly everything I've bought from them has had just such bad quality, and they're double the price of Mattel's items for, you know, a third of the quality. Oh, look at this. This is hollow, of course. Yep, of course it is. So, you know, I've tried to stop, but I do think they look good. That's kind of it. But they fail in the quality department, and they honestly also fail as toys, because if your toy is falling apart, why do you want to keep playing with it, right? Or when I'm reviewing cars, I always, you know, gotta make sure you remember at the end of the day you are reviewing toys, and when those toys are awful, then, yeah, look at this. Francesco, new in box, bent axles from right out of the gate. Axles are bent. He can't roll, he's just sliding. If you remember when I reviewed the Mater set, it had really, really bad quality. Had stickers for all the decals, and all the stickers were falling off. And this set doesn't seem like it'll be much better, huh? So here are the McQueen and the Francesco, and they're passable. They certainly look like a McQueen and a Francesco. They're perfectly fine. They're perfectly suitable. Very cheap and hollow plastic, just like with Mater and Grem. Everything is a sticker, but unlike them, it seems like not everything wants to immediately fall off. If you look at Grem here, everything's just peeling. The same was true for Mater. These must be a nightmare if you were a kid who had them. Everything just wants to fall off. They're that cheaply put together. But in the case of McQueen, it's not as bad. In fact, now that I look at it, it looks like he actually might have decals on him that aren't stickers. Yeah, the Hudson Hornet Piston Cup logo and the 95 logo on the side look like they're printed. And the 95 up top might be as well. Alright, there we go. That's getting somewhere. There are still some stickers on there. Yeah, with the eyes and such. And I'm sure some of these other things are stickers, but most of these do actually look printed, which is great because that means he's not going to start falling apart. There are these weird rubber bumpers on his back, which the other items didn't have. Does Grem have that? Let me just launch him out real quick. No. Grem's just falling apart. Yeah, I mean, he's fine. Not very well put together, but definitely better in terms of quality than Mater and Grem. Using decals really goes a long way, especially when the stickers they're using are that bad. That bad. Yeah, I mean, again, the eyes are a sticker, and you can tell mine isn't very well applied, but still a bit better. Francesco is the same in that regard. He looks perfectly fine, other than one thing. Why is the World Grand Prix logo blue? This has driven me insane since I first saw this item. Why is it blue? Why is it blue? That's just not a thing. I guess it kind of is a thing. The Grand is supposed to be blue, but ironically here, the Grand is the only part that isn't blue. What happened, Francesco? What happened here, huh? Huh? In case you were wondering, while the Grem shared his expression with his regular Disney Store release, Francesco does not. I think McQueen does look like some other Disney Store items, but not any that I have. But the biggest problem with Francesco here, as you can see, all the axles on mine are bent. You can even just see that. They're bent. He doesn't roll. He uncomfortably glides. The wheels are built way too tight to the vehicle itself. See that? So even if the axles weren't bent, he would just be rubbing up against the base there. This is awful. Something just cracked. Great, okay. Front wheels don't fare much better. They just cut it too close. Maybe over time it's become warped. I'm not sure, but man, this is not a functional toy car. That's all there is to it. It looks fine. What did I say earlier, right? Disney Store cars look fine, but are not good in terms of play. This will look fine sitting around on my floor, or I'll probably end up putting these sets back in the box. But if we're to use this as an actual toy, it's gonna be a disaster. Francesco won't be driving to clear the jump. He will just be sliding. Let's see, how do you launch it? The button's here. Is this a button? This looks like it would be the button. This is the button. You know, next to the thing that looks exactly like a button is the actual button. So this is the launcher, as you can see. It is vaguely reminiscent of Porto Corsa from Cars 2 because the building is tan and the colors of the Italian flag are kind of at the top. This looks fine. Doesn't look like anything from the movie, but again, the architecture is vaguely reminiscent of it. We have the ramp here, which is definitely a ramp. This is really funny. What purpose does this serve in universe? It's not like a functional bridge. There's just a gap in here. Great. We also have the keys that you could use to launch them if you don't want to use the set part, with, of course, the two of them. Now, you may have heard that when I plugged Francesco in there, it didn't make a sound. Let's see if it happens with McQueen. No. Great. You know, it's kind of a miracle that the other set worked. I was not expecting the sound to work. Maybe if we plug McQueen and Francesco into this set, we'll get some sound, please? Because this one does work. Wow, that's potentially culturally insensitive. I don't like that. Yeah, okay, alright. So it seems that there is unique dialogue for each of the sets, which is much more effort than I expected. But then again, they are saying a Japanese phrase here. What about Francesco? Okay, that was Italian. Good job, Francesco. Thank you and goodbye. Okay, yeah, so unfortunately it looks like this isn't gonna work. That's a shame, because there would be unique dialogue in here. Well, let's try plugging in Mater. Nope. And Grem. No. Alright, well, I'll do some research and see if I can find any other reviews out there. I looked to Blue Collection when he reviewed the Tokyo set, and ironically his copy didn't work. So hopefully somebody out there reviewed the Porto Corsa set, and maybe I can see what the dialogue is supposed to be.
Put on Lightning McQueen here. Wait, no, come back! And you can hear the sound he makes, and then when you do plug him on here, the lights right here and here by my finger do light up. Now we'll plug on Francesco Bernoulli.
But anyway, the way you're supposed to play this out is quite simply plug in the car and launch them. And then what you do is you take the Francesco, which I can barely classify as a car. Then you take Francesco, who I can barely classify as a car, and you launch him too. Look at this, he doesn't even touch the ground. This is going to be a nightmare. Oh, he actually cleared the gap. No thanks to his wheels, which don't work. Mater, can you do it? Come on, Mater. Come on, buddy. We're counting on you, Mater. Mater, this movie's all about you, man. You gotta do this. Okay, he just didn't. There we go. Come on, Mater. Go, 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 go. So, I don't know if you can tell, but the three cars I've launched at it are already causing some scuff marks. Unless those are there from the beginning, which I don't think they were. This is so poorly made. Of course, alternatively, if you want to, you could also use the keys to launch these guys. Of course, if you're doing that, you won't get the sound effects, but mine isn't working, so that doesn't matter. And attack McQueen, Francesco, go! Hold on. Francesco is so weirdly shaped. This is the part you have to squeeze down to launch. Just because of the way his wheels jut out, it's kind of hard to hit. Let's see. Let's do McQueen as well. This is Francesco's key. I hope he doesn't mind. Attack, McQueen! So there you have it, guys. Another one of these weird plastic Disney Store sets that just barely scrapes by as functional. I think I said it best earlier on in the video. The Disney Store makes things that look nice, but when it comes down to it, you're not getting much. I feel kind of bad for any kids that bought this back in the day, especially if their Francesco had the same problem mine did, and especially if their building had the same problem mine did. I think some of those issues can be because of time, especially this not working, but still, man, it's not the best, huh? Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys next time. I'm going to go use Francesco as the world's lightest paperweight because he doesn't roll. Bye now.